Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I would like to introduce our next-generation intelligent calcium solution for agriculture, our newly developed fertilizer. The productivity limits of agriculture are no longer simply about how much fertilizer we apply. The real issue is structural inefficiency. Farmers often cannot deliver the right nutrients, at the right time, in the right way, exactly when crops need them. That is the problem we are solving. Through our innovative root zone delivery technology, we are proposing a new agricultural paradigm, one that dramatically improves yield while restoring the natural cycle of the soil. First, let me explain why the market urgently needs a new solution. Conventional calcium fertilizers have three fundamental limitations. First, they often contribute to soil acidification and calcium loss. Second, because calcium has low mobility inside the plant, calcium deficiency in fruits continues to occur. Third, repeated use of chemical fertilizers gradually reduces soil fertility itself. In other words, traditional fertilizer has been based on the idea of simply applying more. But modern agriculture is no longer just about input. It is about delivery. How nutrients are delivered determines the result. Our solution turns this vicious cycle into a virtuous one with a single application. The core of our developed fertilizer is its 3-in-1 structure. It solves three problems at the same time. First, slow-release calcium provides stable and continuous nutrient supply. Second, natural organic matter activates beneficial microorganisms and improves the soil ecosystem. Third, NPK and trace elements support the overall growth process of the crop. This is not just a calcium supplement. It is a full-spectrum agricultural solution that connects soil, roots, growth, and harvest into one integrated system. That is our first fundamental point of differentiation. Our first core technology is the intelligent root-responsive system. The fertilizer is designed to release nutrients only when the crop needs them, and only in the amount required. The organic matrix protects the calcium. Then it detects biological signals from the roots. Through ligand exchange, calcium ions are released directly into the root zone. In other words, we are not simply applying fertilizer. We have transformed fertilizer into a delivery system that responds to the plant itself. Because of this technology, waste is reduced and absorption efficiency is increased. Our second core technology is a dual-action structure that combines both fast-acting and slow-release effects. Water-soluble calcium dissolves quickly after application, supporting early growth and correcting acute deficiencies. At the same time, citric acid-soluble calcium remains bound within the organic chelate structure, allowing stable calcium supply all the way through the harvest period. One of the most critical problems in farming is the nutrient supply gap. Our product structurally removes that gap. It supports crops strongly in the early stage and continues to sustain them through the middle and late stages. That is the kind of performance farmers can immediately experience in the field. Our technology is not just about adding calcium more effectively. It is about improving the entire soil system through upcycled organic matter. Absorption becomes faster. The persistence and mobility of calcium increase, and differentiated organic matter activates beneficial microorganisms in the soil. As a result, the product not only prevents deficiency symptoms, but also improves fruit firmness and storage quality. So, although we are operating within the fertilizer market, we are not competing as a simple input product. We are competing as a soil-responsive functional platform. The value of this solution does not end with productivity. It also creates sustainability. Our developed fertilizer does not rely on harsh chemical impact. Instead, it provides gentle neutralization that protects soil structure. Over the long term, It helps maintain pH buffering capacity, improves microbial diversity, and supports eco-friendly agriculture through the use of upcycled resources. From an investor's perspective, this is both a short-term performance product and a solution aligned with ESG and regenerative agriculture trends. Now, the most important question is this: what results have we seen in the field? We have verified meaningful performance across major crops, including rice, peaches, peppers, and onions. In rice, we observed an increase in the number of grains per panicle. In peaches, the premium grade shipment ratio improved. In peppers, yield increased by 40%, along with greater fruit weight. In onions, size, firmness, and sugar content all improved. What matters here is that this was not a one-time improvement in just one crop. Across very different crop categories, we repeatedly observed the same pattern: higher productivity and better quality at the same time. Looking at the rice data, our developed fertilizer improved both yield and growth stability compared to conventional fertilizer. The number of grains per panicle increased from 124 to 159, a 28% improvement. The number of tillers and plant growth length also improved. Final yield increased from 761 kilograms per 10 acres to 838 kilograms with the powder type and 837 kilograms with the pellet type, representing roughly a 10% yield improvement. In agriculture, a 10% yield increase is never a small number. Especially for crops with lower unit prices, that 10% can directly determine farm profitability and repurchase rates. In peaches, we saw improvement in something even more valuable than production volume: premium quality. Fruit size increased from 92 millimeters to 103 millimeters. Sugar content increased from 9.1 bricks to 12.9 bricks. Firmness also increased from 2.1 kilograms force to 2.8 kilograms force. These three indicators directly translate into premium grade ratio, distribution competitiveness, and storage quality. In other words, our product does not simply increase farmers' output. It has the potential to improve the selling price itself. In peppers, we observed both deficiency prevention and yield expansion. Maximum fruit size increased from 141 millimeters to 176 millimeters. The number of fruits per plant increased from 488 to 679, a 40% increase. Total harvest weight also increased from 3.5 kilograms to 4.4 kilograms, a 26% improvement. The significance of this data is not simply that the peppers became larger. The key point is that yield increased while deficiency was controlled. In agriculture, quality and quantity often conflict with each other. Our product achieved both at the same time. The same pattern was repeated in onions. Diameter increased from 76 millimeters to 98 millimeters. Scale thickness increased from 4 millimeters to 7 millimeters. Sugar content increased from 8.2 bricks to 9.6 bricks. This means visual marketability, physical density, and taste all improved together. From an investor's perspective, this shows that our technology is not limited to one specific crop. It is a platform technology with strong multi-crop scalability. The future of agriculture is not about applying more fertilizer. It is about prescribing precisely. We analyze soil acidity, nutrient retention capacity, and overall nutrient condition. Then we design optimized prescriptions based on crop type, growth stage, physiological characteristics, regional conditions, and climate. This means our developed fertilizer is not just a one-time product sale. It can evolve into an expandable business model connected to data-based prescription algorithms. In other words, product revenue can become the foundation for a higher value data service business. We are not presenting an emotional story. We are proving our value through objective indicators. Our product contains 30.39% organic matter, 25.89% soluble lime, and shows a soil improvement pH value of 12.67. On top of that, it incorporates patented technology that supports immediate nutrient absorption by crops. But the key is not simply that we added more ingredients. The real innovation is that organic matter and calcium are designed to function in an ionized form from the beginning. That mechanism is our technological barrier. It is also the moat that makes it difficult for followers to copy. This slide shows the philosophy of our technology most intuitively. We call it a buffet-style intelligent fertilization mechanism. The crop can absorb the ions it needs, when it needs them, and in the amount it requires. Essential ions remain available around the root zone. Then the plant actively absorbs them according to its growth stage and nutrient demand. Simply put, we are not throwing fertilizer into the soil and hoping it works. We are setting a customized nutrient table for the plant. That is why a single application can support the crop from planting all the way to harvest. For a long time, agriculture has been limited by Liebig's law of the minimum. In simple terms, total productivity is determined by the most deficient nutrient. The first generation of fertilizers focused mainly on NPK. The second generation expanded to calcium and magnesium. But nutrient gaps still remained. Our third generation developed fertilizer goes beyond that limitation through a full-spectrum fertilization method that includes macro elements and trace elements together. It is not a fertilizer that fills only one missing element. It is a system designed to help crops continue growing without interruption. That is why we describe this not as just a product, but as a generational shift. Companies that transform markets have one thing in common. They create a new standard through technological superiority. Google created the standard for search. Apple created the standard for the mobile ecosystem. Tesla accelerated the transition in mobility. NVIDIA became the core infrastructure of the AI era. We believe the same kind of shift can happen in agriculture. Our developed fertilizer is not just another agricultural input. It has the potential to become a new standard platform in the global agricultural ecosystem. The investment point here is bigger than revenue growth alone. Once a company becomes the standard, it rewrites the structure of the market itself. Let me summarize. We are combining data-based customized prescription, a proprietary ionization specification, and a buffet-style single-application mechanism to create a complete innovation in the global agricultural ecosystem. This business is not simply a replacement for existing fertilizer. It is a one-of-a-kind deep-tech venture designed to overcome the structural limits of agriculture. Investing at this stage is not merely investing in one product. It is an opportunity to enter early into the next standard, the next platform, and the next dominant player in agriculture. Thank you for your time and attention. We are using technology to transform the structure of agriculture, and we are proving both profitability for farmers and sustainability for the soil in the field. We invite you to join us in building the next chapter of agricultural innovation. Thank you.